العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا ماكثين فيه أبدا وينذر الذين قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا. صدق الله العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, this week we will continue with what we started, and that is in regards to Surah Al Kahf. Surah Al Kahf, lessons and glimpses into this amazing chapter of the Quran. This surah, the verses that I recited are of course the beginning verses of this surah. When we study the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam detailing the trials of Dajjal, the description that stands out the most is the one in which the trials of Dajjal have been described as the most severe test ever created from the time of Nabi Adam alayhi salam. In the light of this narration of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, an indication has been given that during the trials that will act as the forerunners to the emergence of Dajjal, the Ummah would face such dire conditions that an individual would begin thinking that will Islam last till the end? Such fitan and trials and tribulations will be emerging one after the other. The frequency will be many, many fitan in number. During such trying times, many of us could perhaps result a sense of despair, unable to imagine how Islam, how the Muslims can ever go head to head with such forces of evil. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentions to the effect of these dire situations and warned us that ما بين خلق آدم إلى قيام الساعة خلق أكبر من الدجال أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. That Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says there would be no creation creating more trouble than the Dajjal, right from the beginning of the creation of Adam alayhi salam till the last hour. Such a huge fitan, such a huge test that we will be facing. Now, in regards to these fears, many of them being fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown that all of us will experience, might have been experiencing in our lifetime during these severe times. We go back to the examples found in the Quran, and that also specifically to Nabi Musa alayhi salam. Nabi Musa alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran for our benefit. The amount of times that Nabi Musa alayhi salam experienced fear in his life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala repeats episodes from Nabi Musa alayhi salam's experience for our benefit. Some of those verses are, for example, after أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وأخي هارون هو أفصح مني لسانا فأرسله معي لأن يصدقني إني أخاف أن يكذبون. Here Nabi Musa alayhi salam is requesting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also appoint his brother Harun alayhi salam as an assistant, as someone who will be by his side to assist him. And in the end of this verse, Nabi Musa alayhi salam mentions that inni akhafu an yukadhibun, that this fear of the unknown, that maybe the individuals who will receive the message from Nabi Musa alayhi salam, they might say that he's a liar. Another example of the fear or khawf that Nabi Musa alayhi salam experienced, the fear of the unknown, is فَأَصْبَحَ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبُ. After the episode of the two individuals, and when one individual was killed by accident, the next morning Nabi Musa alayhi salam woke with this fear of the unknown, that what would happen? Would they take me and hold me to account? And will the goons of Fir'aun come chasing after him? Another episode Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlights for us in regards to the fear of the unknown Nabi Musa alayhi salam experienced was of course in Mount Tur, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Nabi Musa alayhi salam had a conversation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions and highlights, Ya Musa aqbil wa la takhaf, inni la yakhafu ladayya al-mursalun. After that episode also. These are three episodes and verses that I highlighted that Nabi Musa alayhi salam experienced also the fear of the unknown that you and I are experiencing day in and day out, especially during these days of quarantine, the fear of the unknown. What will happen tomorrow? What will happen a week from now, a month from now, a year from now? The fear of the unknown. So in a similar manner, despite all of the negativity that is associated with the fear of the unknown, if we take Nabi Musa alayhi salam's examples, we will learn that Nabi Musa alayhi salam used the fear of the unknown to his advantage. Every single time Nabi Musa alayhi salam experienced fear, he came out on top after that experience. So inshallah we have hope as well. Continuing with the Surah Al Kahf, if we begin with the first verse, the first words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins Surah Al Kahf with Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitab wa lam yaj'al lahu 'iwaja. Here, the first words, all of us are familiar with these words. Alhamdulillah. As believers, these words are very comforting for us in episodes throughout our lives and different experiences that we experience every single day. These are very soothing, comforting words that we use to give ourselves comfort, to give our loved ones comfort in times of unknown, in situations that we fall and experience. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us as believers that begin this surah, begin your day, throughout your day, end your day with praising the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these words are not only comforting for us, but they hold very deep meaning behind them. Some of those deeper meanings is of course rejecting and directly attacking non-Islamic theories. Non-Islamic theories include every single thing that is non-Islamic, whether it is in the form of disbelief, whether it is in the form of shirk, associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These words give us comfort in the fact that these words allow us to rejuvenate, renew our covenant, our commitment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we accept Him and only Him subhanahu wa ta'ala as our ultimate Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, our ultimate guide, the one who is in control of every single aspect of our life. And we also find comfort in every single verse of the Quran that وَمَا تَوْفِيقِي إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ, that nothing occurs without the leave, without the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whosoever will engage their mind and their heart and their tongue with this dhikrullah, with this remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with Alhamdulillah, inshallah such an individual will find themselves always in times of severity, in times of desperation, in times of anxiety, coming out on top, placing our sole dependence and tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course it goes, this simple two words, Alhamdulillah, again like we mentioned, it goes directly in the face of everything non-Islamic, whether it is in the form of evolution, whether it is in the form of any ism that we find today. We find atheism, we find any type of ism that is out there, feminism, we find these types of different isms that are out there, we can find comfort in this beginning of Surah Al Kahf, in the beginning of using Alhamdulillah to remind ourselves that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate one who is in control. Now, moving forward, if we look at this verse, the first verse of Surah Al Kahf, we will find the meaning of it in summary is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alladhi, the one, anzala ala abdihi al-kitab, the one who revealed the book, the one who revealed the Quran. وَلَمْ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ عِوَجًا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only revealed this Quran upon His servant sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed no crookedness in the Quran. Unlike the crookedness and unfounded theories that are found in other theories that exist. This is a great announcement to anyone who will open the Quran and ponder over the verses, ponder over its deeper meaning with love, and a neutral mind will find guidance in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَمْ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ عِوَجًا, that He subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this book, the Quran, with no crookedness. قَيِّمًا. قَيِّمًا, a straight book. Not only has the Quran been kept completely straight, in other words, the Quran is in its pure form, free from all types of unfounded theories, free from all types of fabrications, free from all type of crooked reasonings. It has been invested with such spiritual power that itself straightens the crooked mind. The Quran itself being so straight that someone who has a crooked mind, if they were to open the Quran looking for guidance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate one who guides. And there is high hope that such an individual will find guidance in the Quran. Moving forward, we find the next verses. قَيِّمًا لِيُنذِرَ بَأْسًا شَدِيدًا مِنْ لَدُنْهُ وَيُبَشِّرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. So the next verse is of course a warning of a severe punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this verse, the world of disbelief have been warned that despite apparently dominating in modern day times and also in the past in history, despite this apparent domination, it is not forever. Every single thing will come to an end, and we will all return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam clearly mentioned that, of course, we find our situation, the believers, not only in our generation, but also in the past generations, from the time of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in, the previous Anbiya, prophets and messengers that passed, they were always tested. They were always found to be tested. And of course, we give ourselves comfort knowing that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam informed us that the ones tested the most, of course, are the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, the prophets. And then the ones who are closest to the prophets alayhi salatu wasalam. So of course, we find ourselves temporarily suffering. We know the condition of the ummah throughout the world, in our own generation, in the past, in history. We find this extreme suffering that takes place. The believers, they suffer and they experience this temporary desperation and tough times. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that even during those tough times, مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا مِنْ ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنثَى وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. We find different ways how our brothers and sisters are coping throughout the world in tough and dire, desperate situations. Even during those desperate situations, sometimes you see even those individuals in war zones are smiling. Subhanallah, you and I sitting in this comforting Western country, very peaceful society, we know that we have this sense of security. But those brothers and sisters who are constantly being bombarded, live missiles, live ammunition, experiencing day in and day out, they have opportunities to even smile during those desperate situations. So again, this is only through the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that even during those desperate situations, those brothers and sisters are able to come out on top, smiling, and just moving on with life, knowing that it is only a temporary test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. That this is a life of a test. We will experience loss in life, loss in wealth, loss in health, and crop and food. But glad tidings are those to those individuals who have patience. Those are the ones who come out on top. So again, these are the beginning verses that I wanted to begin with in Surah Al Kahf. And of course, inshallah, we will continue. And we wanted just to leave with a small cliffhanger, so that inshallah next week we can have something to look forward to. Surah Al Kahf, of course, we know that it is for our benefit. Last time, in the last recording, we mentioned that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam informed us that the benefits of reciting Surah Al Kahf, an individual would be protected from the fitan of Dajjal. And even if Dajjal were to emerge, such an individual would not be harmed by Dajjal. So this is one of the benefits. And we know that, of course, Dajjal, Shaitan, Iblis, these are the forces of evil. So inshallah, next week we will focus on 4 different types of tools that the Shaitan uses on us. And this is found, of course, in the Quran. We will go over this next week, inshallah. 4 tools that Shaitan uses against us day in and day out. Different types of tools that he has within his arsenal that he uses against us. Inshallah, if we're informed and well informed about these 4, inshallah, we can use it to our advantage in trying to avoid falling into his traps. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala